Now on Palm Beach TV, mitigating town-wide exposure to flooding emanating primarily from the Lake Worth Lagoon. Council members receive an update on the town's overall flood protection assessment and stress the importance of a comprehensive action plan. Plus, storm surge and other severe weather threats take center stage at the Governor's Hurricane Conference in West Palm Beach. You'll hear from experts about storm season predictions and the added vulnerability Palm Beach faces as a barrier island. I'm Claudia Shea. These stories straight ahead.
The Palm Beach Civic Association brings you Palm Beach TV, the island's only newscast, sponsored by the Fortin Foundation of Florida. Now, the news.
Periodic flooding along the lake trail, particularly during a king tide, is a visual reminder of Palm Beach's vulnerability as a barrier island, especially when you factor in rising sea levels. Water level sensors, such as this installed on a dock rail at the marina and various other locations, keep a continual eye on levels and are integral to ongoing assessments. During Tuesday's council meeting, the consultant working with the town for more than 5 years, Woods Hole Group, updated town leaders on the progress of the flood vulnerability assessment and the town's coastal resilience implementation plan called Level Up.
Woods Hole did a vulnerability assessment first for us. After that vulnerability assessment, and we realized what our weaknesses were, they went ahead and came up with a plan, which was called Level Up, with, okay, now what do we do about it now that we know that we're vulnerable?
The plan is consistent with state assessment requirements, making the town eligible to continue receiving state grants.
Fundamentally, this work that we're doing now at the most basic level will update work that you've done before in a way that will comply with new state standards so that you will continue to remain officially part of and eligible for participation in the state program, which also makes the town eligible for pursuing grants to cost share projects related to improving coastal resiliency and addressing vulnerability.
The goal is to continually provide information to the town to assist council members in staying current with state standards and making educated decisions about planning for current and future risks, and to prioritize and guide investments in infrastructure improvements now and moving forward.
We will be producing new flood maps that show the probability of flooding, showing the flooding depth at high tide in these different time horizons and sea level rise scenarios, looking at that big 100-year storm flooding depth.
Updated flood maps and other assessment findings will be presented to the council during a follow-up meeting this fall. Council members stressed the necessity of complete and accurate data needed to guide their decisions in protecting the island and its residents, and to be as fiscally responsible with protection costs as possible.
I can tell you, looking into the future, we're looking at huge amounts of money, assuming these threats prove out. And some major decisions to be made, I think, not just by us up here, but being advised by you out there. But this is this is very portentous stuff here, and we need to kind of tune in on it. We've been focusing on code reform, but this is code reform on steroids.
President Lindsay also stressed the importance of receiving more specific information on protecting individual neighborhoods and businesses in addition to town-owned assets.
The town-owned assets, sure, we're going to lift them and we're going to do what we need to do, but if we don't figure out the neighborhood flood control, we're not going to have a town to worry about those assets with. So that's a very high priority.
The council received some requested information before the next scheduled formal presentation by the Woods Hole Group this fall. Public outreach is central to the town's community resilience planning. Planning for disasters is also the theme of this week's Governor's Hurricane Conference at the West Palm Beach Convention Center. State and federal agencies throughout Florida met in West Palm Beach in preparation for what meteorologists, based on various conditions, predict will be an active and above-average hurricane season.
We have conditions in place not only in the atmosphere but in the oceans, over the Atlantic Ocean, that we feel are conducive for an active season. For example, we have very warm waters in the tropical Atlantic, warmer than normal. We have will we expect to be lighter winds aloft or less wind shear, so the storms would be able to grow vertically and potentially get stronger. That's part of the La Nina influence on this hurricane season. So really, we feel that the conditions are coming together for what could be a pretty active season in the Atlantic Ocean.
As part of implementing your hurricane readiness plan, Palm Beach Police also encourage residents staying in town this summer to add their names to the hurricane reentry list should an evacuation order be issued.
We have a running list at the police station. What the residents need to do is call us at the police station, get your name, ensure that your name, your family members are on that list, and if you have a representative for your home or property, add them to the list as well. They will be the first ones to be allowed back on the island after a storm.
As part of the Palm Beach Civic Association's commitment to keeping island residents and businesses safe, we will share critical safety information in our upcoming special report ahead of the storm. You'll hear more from Palm Beach public safety experts and state and federal officials, including the director of the National Hurricane Center. This special report will be released on June 1st, the first day of the Atlantic hurricane season.
That'll do it for this edition of Palm Beach TV, the island's only newscast. We also encourage you to follow the Civic Association online and on social media. We'll see you next time.
Palm Beach TV is a production of the Palm Beach Civic Association. We thank our sponsor, the Fortin Foundation of Florida, and encourage you to let us know how we can further provide news coverage that best serves our members and residents.